Hello everyone, I am Aaditya Chandra Gupta, a student of grade 12. I joined the WBS family in grade 5. People said that I was an adorable and adventurous kid. However, the moment I would stand on stage, you would see a 180-degree personality flip. I'd be shy, quiet, wrought with stage fright. And honestly, if you ask the young Aditya that once in grade 12, would he like to give a TED talk in front of the entire school? He would have laughed it off and rejected the proposal. But it's not his fault. He did not know about the journey that he was going to take in the future. Let me start from the beginning. I live in a small city called Kashipur on the outskirts of the Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. Growing up surrounded by strong, driven, ambitious women and a supportive father, I never really saw the discrimination that women have been facing on for centuries. My sister and I were always treated as equal. And honestly, I believed that I had so much that I could learn from her. As the opportunities in my city were pretty limited, my parents decided that it would be best for both of us to apply to boarding schools and start carving our own path. Like it was for most of you, starting school at Vellum was a wonderful experience. Though I was nervous about leaving the comforts of home, but very soon I found a sense of independence and strength. Initially, I pursued swimming. I read a lot, I wrote for the Oliphant, our school magazine, and even joined the school choir. But these are all activities that you all have probably partaken in some form or the other. Today, I am not here to tell you about the story of my life. I am here to talk to you about the path less taken. We are nurtured to grow into chivalrous, forward thinking men who strive for equality among the sexes. But do you think it's so easy to achieve this? I truly understood how far we were from reality when I helped my mother and sister establish our non-profit organization AAN, which means dignity in Hindi. For our first project Srijan, we started working with a community of artisans who recycled old clothes and made multi-purpose rugs, dadis and chadars out of it. These rugs weren't just beautiful, but also helped keeping the waste cloths from going into the landfills. Getting to understand the production processes, being on the field and interacting with the community firsthand, I soon realized that most of the production was done by women and girls who had dropped out of school. This was my first peek into the world of harsh truths. And what astonished me most was that while I was a carefree 7th grader, a girl that I had just met, who was only 2 years older than me, was already engaged to be married. As AAN continued to evolve, our mission became to empower women and children by helping them recognize their dignity through awareness campaigns. I stayed on the sidelines and helped ensure that the backstage processes were on track for the first few Good Touch Bad Touch campaigns, where we taught children in the age group of 5 to 12 about stranger safety protocol, safe and unsafe touch, and organizations that they could contact in cases of emergencies like the Childline or the Satyarthi Foundation. The topic of child sexual abuse is a very big taboo in our society because most of these abusers are known to the child, and to preserve the honor of the family, the child's trauma is sidelined. Understanding the weight of the topic and how important it is, every voice raising awareness about this, I soon overcame my fear of being able to talk on stage. And this was because I wasn't scared to be judged by them. I created a strong bond with the children. They trusted me as I trusted them. Covering over 25 government primary schools with over 3,500 students, I felt that I was doing a job that every responsible human should. However, society saw me and the rest of the team as champions breaking social barriers. This deepened my sense of realization that oftentimes we tend to ignore the big issues because we believe it is someone else's responsibility to protect society, to safeguard the future of our nation. And by choosing to take up this responsibility, I had already started walking on a path that most children and adults never take. My experiences on the field awakened my interest in the world of socio-economic and political phenomena. And I knew that I wanted to work in the public sector to actually make a difference. As I started grade 11th, I was really excited to start working more actively in school. But 2020 had different plans for us. Initially, when the pandemic hit, I was upset about the fact that I wouldn't be able to enjoy the break after my grade 10 board exams or be able to meet my friends for an uncertain period of time. As classes began online for me, I was quite aware that for many students worldwide, education had come to a standstill. I started working with an international organization called World Reader to help ensure that the children in my city had access to reading and writing practice through digital mediums. Soon, as the program continued, my mother and I both realized that for many girls, school wasn't just a source of education, but also a primary place for them to get access to sanitary pads. I made it my mission to go forward, to shatter more unsaid barriers, and as a man, recognize my role in helping women get access to proper products for personal hygiene. Even in the 21st century, the topic of periods isn't discussed amongst women, let alone the boys or male members of the family. We started a movement called Periods Don't Stop with the Pandemic, under which we conducted awareness campaigns and distributed over 1,000 menstrual hygiene kits, which we had called as Dignity Kits. The highlight of this event was when Mr. Anurag Chauhan, the founder of Humans for Humanity, came to Kashipur for one of our events. He was an inspiration for me as he also chose to be an ally to the movement and help spread awareness about menstruation, a hushed up normal bodily function. Our society knows what is required for uplifting and developing this nation, but the steps that one actually needs to take in reality to achieve this utopian society are difficult and challenging. I believe when people begin to focus on just their individual progress, they end up forgetting about this responsibility they have. In fact, sometimes they believe it isn't their responsibility at all. Today, I want you to think of society as it is and think of what you hope for it to be. I want you to think of what you are good at and how you could give back using those skills. This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do what I do, but even conversations within your family, to question patriarchal practices, to talk about topics considered to be taboo in our society, to understand the history of discrimination, be it according to race, religion, sexuality, or gender. All of this will make an impact. And as we believe at ARN, a small gesture you make will make a big difference. Thank you.